Well, picking up, it's just a week on since the announcement that the Sefton Group were in trouble, and we had a meeting with a gentleman who are back with us today, Mr. Bell. Another double act. You're still fending off a lot of questions. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This has run. Now, I'd like to move it on because we have covered the ground last week, but since then there's been more developments, more questions, for instance. And I mean, starting, last week, a bumpy ride in the House of Keys, and you've had also a Roman Coleman. Is there anything, before I start asking you things, is there anything you want to directly get across that's moving this story on?
Well, perhaps we haven't explained it as clearly as some people would like as to the rationale behind this decision. And it's very disappointing, I have to say, that the waters have got muddied with some of the wild accusations that have been made about the motivation of helping this particular situation. The key to the whole thing is that it's got nothing to do with personalities or anything like this. We have focused very much on the hard-headed business impact of the problems of the Sefton Group, a group that employs 300 people, that is a great many service suppliers, goods suppliers, etc. are involved with this. They're owned nearly £2 million worth of debt. In the worst case scenario, if this company had failed, it would have had a devastating effect on the local domestic economy. But there is one other which hasn't come out, and we need to be very focused on this. There is another major event going on around us at the moment, which people are not focused on, and that is called G8. The G8 agenda is focused absolutely on small international business centres such as the Isle of Man in terms of tax evasion, tax planning, and corporate tax management. Now, places like the Isle of Man, and the Isle of Man in particular, will be very much and are very much the focus of attention and are going to be under incredible pressure over this next few months. It is absolutely vital that we do all we possibly can during this period to maintain confidence and stability within the economy. If in the midst of this intense scrutiny and attack that we will get from outside, we were to have to face a major collapse of a local domestic company, the damage that would have collectively on the confidence of the island and our ability to hold things together economically would be considerable.
Okay, point now taken, let's move it on. Sleepwell Group, very unhappy with you. I mean, they issued a pretty damning press release. They were due to do interviews, and then they withdrew from that. They had a meeting with you, I believe, in the meantime, did they?
I was very, very unhappy with the content of the Sleepwell statement. I did not recognise the comments that they made in it at all. I have found no evidence that they have made any bids for the whole of the Sefton Group. I was aware that they might be interested in the Sefton Hotel should it become available, but not the whole group. I've spoken to the Sefton Group, I've spoken to Economic Development. I know the Sefton Sleepwell owners and directors very, very well indeed, and that issue of buying the whole enterprise has not officially been raised. The other point which was raised about government, because we are giving the Sefton some financial support, all government business then would be channeled through the business, is complete and utter nonsense. Now, I don't want to pursue this situation with Sleepwell. I have a huge respect for what they've done. They are now, I think, the island's premier hotel. They've shown great confidence in investing and are still investing as we speak. But I have this week had a very lengthy and I think constructive conversation with the owner of Sleepwell Hotels, who is a personal friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years. And I think we have identified a possible way forward. Now, at this stage, I don't want to talk about it. We'll have to see how things evolve over the next few months.
So that's why they pulled out doing interviews, because you've had a meeting, you've sort of calmed the waters somewhere. You promised them something?
I haven't promised anything. We've had a constructive discussion. The ball is in their court now to see what might develop. I have not in any way interfered with their willingness to make interviews with yourself or anyone else.
But I mean, they wouldn't want necessarily the whole group. I mean, they're a hotel chain, right? So they would naturally want to pick that part of the business. They don't want a building company, I'm assuming, I don't know. But
we will have to see what happens there. But our concern, of course, is if the Sefton Group as a whole collapsed, there would be takers. There would be people who would cherry pick, certainly the Sefton Hotel itself, But then who would pick up the pieces? It would be left to government. We would have to deal with the consequences of certainly over 200 staff out of work. We would have to deal with the debts owing to the creditors and all the various ramifications from that. Government, like it or not, is in this case very much involved in it, and we are trying to stabilise the whole enterprise so that the taxpayer does not get confronted with this cost, because that would come out of departmental budgets, which we're trying to avoid at the moment.
Okay. Well, there's lots more on this, and we'll continue in our next section.